What up, everybody? And welcome once again to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, and this is your football show by guys that love football. And as always, it's your host, your boy Craig, here with my co-host,
your boy Ace.
And we have a live show for you today. We told you last week we would bring it to you, and this week we are going to bring it to you. It's the year of the black quarterbacks, and we're going to give it to you as straight as we can. Starting off, though, we want to give you a little update on the XFL. The Defenders smashed the Guardians 27-0. It was a slaughter. Guardians couldn't get nothing done. In a little bit of a lackluster game, the Dragons beat the Vipers 17-9. A more competitive game against the with the Renegades 25 to the Wildcats 18.
Can I tell you something?
What?
Hidden confession, I watched that game.
Did you?
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, I could tell it was a good game.
Yeah.
I was busy all weekend. I didn't really get to watch any of it. And then for what seems to be the best game of the week, Roughnecks against the Battlehawks. Roughnecks win 28-24 in what appeared to be a very close battle. What'd you think of the game you watched?
I like it. I like the rules. I like how when you make a mistake or something like that, they kind of interview you live, why'd you drop that ball?
That's dope, yo.
And the quarterback helmet and stuff like that. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that you could actually see players' reaction right there on the spot to why they did what they did. That's pretty cool. I thought a lot of guys was flying around trying to make a name for themselves.
Oh, of course.
There was a lot of size, a lot of speed, a lot of talent. It was interesting. I really liked it.
I do like it. I like that they give these guys a little bit more of a chance. You know, they have the college rule where you only need one foot down in bounds.
Yeah.
I like the kickoff. I actually love the extra point idea. Instead of kicking a field goal, you have three options for 1, 2, or 3 points, whether it's the 2-yard, the 5-yard, or the 10-yard line. I thought that makes the game more exciting. You'll see people going from the 10-yard when they're down by 2 points and need to get the win. I feel like it just adds a whole new aspect to the game. I think this will make the NFL think, the excitement of extra points. Will the NFL adopt something similar?
Even the rules too, some of their rules that normally would be a 15-yard penalty in the NFL was only a 5-yard penalty. And there, so it was kind of interesting to see how the refs was calling the game and stuff like that. The rule's still the same way, but it's just the yardage is different.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see there's a clear difference between the talent level in the NFL and the XFL.
So you could definitely see that there's some guys that can still play.
Mostly defensively.
This guy looked good offensively. What was his name? Dunbar, the running back.
Lance Dunbar?
Yeah,
he used to play for the Cowboys.
Yeah, him. He was real good, yeah.
I haven't seen him play yet.
He was catching a lot of passes out the backfield. He still had
Lance Dunbar was nice, though, when he played for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he still got some flashes of that,
And I like, what's the quarterback, Jones?
Landry Jones?
Is it? No, not Landry Jones. His name begins with a C. It's not Chancellor or something it's not Chancellor though. It's something it begins with a C, but he's undefeated in professional football. Okay. He only played 2 games in the NFL or 5 games in the NFL and maybe even more than that. But however many games he's played total, he's undefeated. He's never lost a professional game. So I thought that was pretty cool, and he's continuing that on in the XFL. So it's pretty nice to see that going on. In real big news for the NFL and for the Saints, Drew Brees decides to take one more season. He's going to go for one more shot at that bowl. And what does this mean for the Saints? What does this mean for Drew Brees? And more importantly, what does it mean for Teddy and Taysom?
Well, I like the move that Drew Brees decided to come back and try to go for it, because it's I see someone like him's going to go out on top, him or Tom Brady, with a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
If not, they'll get to the Super Bowl, die trying, maybe lose, but still you could retire at that note because you made it to the highest level.
Yeah.
You went out on top. So that's not a bad move for Drew Brees, especially you don't know how much money he's getting right now, and that's just a question mark. So he could get a good payday and be okay, or take less money just to get more people to surround him to try to help him get this win for this year.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. And I feel like if he takes a little less money, because he made good money and still making good money, so I feel like if he takes less of a pay cut in order to maybe grab an offensive lineman or a receiver or something, I think that could be beneficial to the team too. When it comes to Tyson and Teddy, I think honestly Tyson will stay.
Taysom?
Taysom will stay. He'll still be Drew Brees' backup, and they'll still involve him in his packages and stuff like that. So they don't have to switch up too much on offense. But Teddy, I think Teddy's going to go somewhere, either be a starter or a backup. But
I don't think Teddy's in line for backup. They got Teddy. They're projecting Teddy could sign a deal upwards worth of $30 million a year.
Yeah,
they're
but
saying
really,
that.
is he worth it?
I don't know. He went 5-0 on the Saints team. Depending on what team he goes to, you put him on a team like the Chargers, where it's not going to be too much different. You put him on a team like the Colts, and you add some offensive weapons. These are teams that he can step onto, and he can make a huge difference.
But I don't think he's going to make a $30 million difference.
Oh, he's not. I don't think Teddy's worth $30 million.
Yeah,
but right now, the mobile quarterback is the quarterback of the future, and Teddy Bridgewater is that. He is a mobile quarterback, and he's relatively accurate. He got a 99.1 passer rating over 5 games.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you're talking about short games. You already know how I personally feel about that. You got to play the season. They got to get film on you, and that changes. We saw what Teddy Bridgewater's doing now, but we also saw what he did in Minnesota. So
in Minnesota, he had an 11-5 record.
Yeah, well, that's
playoff.
Okay, but what about the other seasons?
He was injured. His only whole season, the only season he played whole, he had an 11-5 record. Outside of that, one season he came in. His rookie year, he came in late into the season. Second year, 11-5. Third year, out for the season, and then backup quarterback. Well, he was a backup. The second year he was injured, and then back up to Drew Brees. So I mean, he has the upside. He hasn't got to play a whole lot of ball.
Yeah.
But
I just think when it comes to him, I don't think he's going to take a team to the Super Bowl.
No, I don't think he's going to take a team.
And
to
that's
the
what
Super Bowl.
$30 million is.
I think he's going to take a team. I think he could take certain teams to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's Super Bowl caliber ready. I really do believe that his talent with the right coach could get him far, but it's got to be the right system. And I really think the only system that works for Teddy Bridgewater is the Chargers. I think that's the best place for him to go if he wants to be in playoff contention. And Taysom Hill, I mean, we don't know. You really don't know what Taysom Hill is capable of. We've seen flashes of light, but can he get the job done? We don't really know.
Yeah,
we know he can run with the ball.
Yeah,
but is he another? What's the dude from the Broncos now plays baseball? The religious dude. Tebow. Do we have a Tim Tebow on our hands? I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Another bit of news. Donald Trump pardons former 49ers owner DeBartola. A lot of celebration going on. Jerry Rice really happy about this move. But to me, I'm confused. The man served no jail time. He got fined $1 million for illegal betting.
Yeah.
And fraudulent something to do with fraud in the world of the NFL. Happened in '98. He didn't do his time. He just got fined. Why is he being pardoned? And why is it like a celebratory thing? It doesn't make sense to me. Just relieving another billionaire of some wrongdoing. Like, can we pardon some people who actually deserve? This man committed the crime, and he's being pardoned. I don't understand, but it is what it is. Any thoughts?
No thoughts. It's just people with money just getting out of trouble, not doing jail time. It's just the world that we live in.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
A sidebar: did you watch the NBA?
All-Star game? I did not watch the NBA All-Star game. Was it something to see?
Yeah,
I heard it came down to the wire.
Yeah, not only that it came down to the wire, it was just the whole format to the All-Star game was pretty dope. So they played, I want to say 12-minute quarters.
Okay.
So the first 3 quarters was 12 minutes, and they both was playing for a charity, and all the kids was there for $100,000 each quarter.
Okay.
So first quarter, Team LeBron won. Second quarter, Team Giannis won. Third quarter, they tied. So that fourth quarter was for they was playing that fourth quarter for I think it was $300,000 or 400,000, in between 300,000 and 500,000, something like that.
Okay.
But in the fourth quarter, the game was up to 24. So you still had the same score, but it was the first team to score 24 points.
Oh.
So say like at the end of the third quarter, Team Giannis was up. Say they had 150, right?
Yeah.
And so that means the game was going to be to 174 because they added like the 24 just straight to 24 for Kobe. So Team LeBron was already down like 8 points. So they had to score like almost like 42 points compared to like their 24 to win.
Wow.
And they end up coming back and winning their game. So it was pretty dope because it's
so it's like almost like win by 2 but win by 24.
Yeah.
What?
Not win by 24. It's up to 24. So say like after the third quarter, right?
Yeah.
Say whatever the final scores of the third quarter. From there, they're going to add 24 points to whoever is in the league.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying? And
okay.
then that's what the final score you're playing up to.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay.
So, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
So it was pretty like, it was a pretty dope format.
Yeah.
Due to the simple fact is it was like that. And came in the fourth quarter, like, it almost looked like a pickup ball game where, like, dudes was taking charges, dudes was playing defense.
I saw that.
Like, it was, like,
they
all
were playing
over.
hard.
Like, they was playing hard. Like, the hardest that you probably saw them play over there probably some of them guys 5-6 year career. You know what I'm saying?
Because they was, and you know, it was very evident, first off, in the jerseys, wearing 2 and 24. One team all 2s, the other team all 24s. I love that. That made me feel really good about what they were doing there. And then obviously they were like, we can't not go out and play out, give it our all. So,
and not only that, the MVP award was named after Kobe this year.
Really?
Yeah, that's something that new. So now from here on out, the All-Star MVP would be named after like Kobe Bryant. So Kawhi got it.
Yeah,
for the
Kawhi,
first year.
yeah.
So it was a pretty dope All-Star game due to that format. Like, you know, in the first 3 quarters, you know, you saw some action, a lot of dunks. Mm-hmm. In the fourth quarter, you only probably saw like 1, maybe 2 dunks. That's how hard they was playing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they wasn't trying to let things go by or not. Like, they was really playing hard.
Yeah, I love the when Giannis stuffed LeBron.
Yeah.
And they called it a foul, and it was clean.
No, first they wanted to call it goaltend, but that was it was a clean block. He put it right on the box. Things like that. Like, normally that's a layup for LeBron.
Yeah.
Because Giannis is not going to contest that. But I was even saying, like, yo, LeBron, you should have dunked that right there. But Giannis would have never contested that if it wasn't like
if it wasn't
in the fourth quarter playing for something. You get what I'm saying? So that was pretty. It was pretty dope.
That is awesome. They found a way, to make the game more competitive for the players, and that's awesome. Maybe I'll have to watch the highlights of the game to really see what happened.
Go to YouTube it or whatever you got to do.
All right, so now we're at the segment of the show. We're going to give you some dates to mark on your calendar. If you're a true NFL fan, you should definitely be paying attention to this. Coming up most recently is going to be February 24th to March 2nd, the NFL Combine. And what's great, which means, we're right about our 1 year mark, because we covered the Combine, or at least we covered the Combine, right? Because we were talking about who was going to get drafted, and we went over the draft. So we're at the 1 year mark of our show. So
and our draft statuses was pretty well.
Yeah, we did real well for that. I thought even if we didn't get the position, even if we didn't get the player, a lot of times we got the position. So that was pretty awesome, and we'll be doing that. We're gonna have to do that again and see how it goes. But the Combine's coming up February 24th to March 2nd. February 29th is when franchise tags and transition tags are open. So now teams can franchise and transition tags their players. March 10th is the last day you can franchise or transition tag a player. March 16th to March 18th, undrafted free agent negotiations can begin. March 18th, free agent market opens, and the 2020 NFL season officially opens.
Hey.
March 29th to April 1st, we have league meetings, and that's like the commissioner and NFL owners, and they'll go over some hot topics like whether or not they'll continue on with the pass interference rule. what they're going to do with onside kicks, because onside kicks rule was pretty bad this year. The amount of onside kicks that were recovered were the lowest they've ever been. And they'll have the CBA discussion. April 6th through April 6th, the 5 new head coaches can begin off-season workouts. New coaches, they're going to need some extra time with their team. April 20th through the 27th. Oh, no, sorry. Once again, reading it wrong. April 20th, the 27 remaining head coaches can begin their off-season workouts. April 23rd to the 25th is the NFL draft. And this is a big day. I cannot wait for the NFL draft, man. It's going to be an exciting day to see who goes where and who's going to be number 1 overall draft pick. You know, Joe Burrows right now is looking like it, but I have a feeling that Tua is going to pull a Baker, and he's going to show some stuff at the combine that gets him number 1 overall. April 27th, NFL teams can sign XFL players. So if there's an XFL player that's shining, NFL teams can nab them. I feel like this is going to not be as – I don't think it's going to be as lucrative as people think it is.
Yeah.
If anything, you might get one, but I don't think there'll be many. May 1st to the 4th or the 8th to the 11th, 1 3-day rookie camp available to any team. You could pick whichever 3 days you want, but those are the days for rookie camps. May 19th and 20th is the spring meeting where the commissioner and NFL owners get together once more to finalize any decisions. July 15th is the final day for franchise tag players to sign. And then finally, August 6th, the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. And that brings us to the NFL season. All right. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. This was the year of the black quarterback. We had some shiners. We had maybe 2 duds. I think there was maybe 2 duds in the whole pack.
Yeah.
But it was an excellent year, a remarkable year for black quarterbacks. Even at some of their worst moments, they were shining. I want to start from the bottom of the list and work our way up. And for me, that bottom of the list, I see Jacoby Brissett.
Okay.
Jacoby Brissett went 7-9, 18 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, which I think is pretty good for a 16-game season. 2,942 yards with an 88 passer rating.
Okay. And they signed him for $27.9 million for 1 year, right?
I saw a 2-year deal for $30 million.
2 year, yeah.
2-year deal,
okay.
$30 million. He got $20 million guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah, so I like that contract with him. I think honestly, like, people is misconstrued by what he really did. He went out there and performed. Like, you know, due to the injuries and stuff like that he went through, you got to give the guy a little bit of something. And then I hear that they're trying to get rid of him. I don't respect that due to the simple fact is you got to give him a chance to develop. You can't be quick to pull a plug on him because he proven like at times he can perform, but it's like he was playing behind because they was injured all year.
I can't agree with you more, man. I have a feeling that they are going to move on from Jacoby Brissett, and what I say to that is your loss is going to be somebody else's gain.
Absolutely.
Because Jacoby Brissett had to do what he did with a severe lack of talent at the wide receiver position. Like, people talked about how bad the Patriots wide receiver core was. Nothing compared to how bad this receiving core was for the Indianapolis Colts. Your top receiver missed something like half the season.
More than half.
Maybe more. He missed a lot of games. You had to rely on a run game, and you had to rely on Jacoby Brissett. I mean, only 6 interceptions with that bad of a wide receiver core. Your number 1 tight end has hands with butter on him.
And they competed. That team was competing.
They were competing.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a 7-9 record. He started off the season really strong, and then once they lost T.Y. Hilton, and none of the other wide receivers stepped up. Everybody had like 1 or 2 games where they did really well, but nobody was stepping up to the plate.
Absolutely.
I think if you're the Colts, the smart decision is ride out this contract, get him some weapons, and see what happens next. You get him some weapons that last the season, and I think that you're gonna see a all new Jacoby Brissett. He's a talented quarterback, and if they like I said, if they let him go, that's just gain for another team.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens with that. Dwayne Haskins, he only played 7 games, but out of those 7 games. They went 3-13. He only lost 1. Mm-hmm. He only lost. Excuse me, my bad. No, he only won 1.
He won 1.
He won 1. Yeah. My bad. He won 1 because the first 2 games were lost by Case Keenum, and then he won 1 game. But on a team, once again, like, could you be lacking any more weapons? You had 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, and it's like, and his is what? He's the 38th highest paid quarterback at $14 million. Getting $3 million a year. The thing about Haskins is this: it's like they shouldn't have picked and choose. I feel as though like they should have set him out all year, let him develop, and then let him come strong this year. I know you want to let him get a taste of real game speed and stuff like that, but just sometimes you just let him sit and marinate.
You let him play week 17.
Yeah, and I think that next year, like, since he got that feel, he's going to come back with redemption and ball up. But at the end of the day, like, for the Washington Redskins this year, it was kind of like a rebuilding year also. So, you know, they was just trying to get some pieces, put some pieces together, let go some players, you know. So we saw that with that team. But I think next year they can be able to reload. They're definitely going to reload and definitely going to be out there competing. And I think Haskins will be up there, and I think he's going to be okay.
I agree. I like Haskins a lot. You know, I was big up in Haskins before the draft. I thought he was the best. I thought he was the best quarterback in the draft, although I was wrong. Kyler Murray is definitely the truth. But I still think Dwayne Haskins has a lot to offer. I think had the Giants been smart enough to draft him, they would have saw a better season. Because he would have had more weapons and he would. I think he did a better job than Daniel Jones. But at the end of the day, without weapons, it doesn't matter. You know, I think they're number 2. I think they have the number 2 overall draft pick, and they're talking about drafting Chase Young, which isn't the worst decision, but you've already got a great defensive line. Yeah. Sure, why not shore up that offensive line? Why not trade down your number 2 overall draft pick so you can get yourself maybe offensive lineman and get an extra draft pick, you know? That number 2 draft pick is
I think they can
big.
use a receiver over there too.
They could use a receiver, and there's a lot of talented receivers. They're saying that this is the most talented receiving core. It's super deep. Yeah. And hey, if you drop below 16, if you trade away your second to get, your second overall pick, and you drop down to below 16, go after wide receivers. You know, you probably get for Chase Young, you'll probably get a first and a second round draft pick. So
if I was them, I would trade my second draft pick, and for 2 others in that first round. And then I'm gonna get me a wide receiver and an offensive lineman.
Who has 2 first-round picks that would be worth trading for? The only I think maybe Oakland has 2.
Yeah, but they can switch something around if they really want to get it done.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about that, if you trade your number 2 to Oakland, Oakland's got 2 first rounds. They got their own first round, plus they got the one from Chicago. You could probably draft the two top wide receivers in the draft.
You don't even have to go 2 receivers. You just really need one, and like you're saying, one and an interior offensive lineman, and then you're good.
I think I like that. You know? That's actually a great idea right there, because you don't need Chase Young. Everybody wants Chase Young, and whoever gets Chase Young, that their defensive line is going to jump.
So everybody wants him. So therefore, come talk to me on how we gonna make it happen. How this is gonna benefit me. Yeah, I can make it benefit you. I could do the trade.
Yeah,
but how's that trade gonna benefit me? And how will it benefit that team is if they get a 2-for-1 type of deal. You want the second pick? Boom. I need 2 in the first for that. So however you got to make it happen, make it happen. I don't care how you got to make it happen.
All right.
Trade up. Like, they could be like a 3-4 team trade for that. Who knows? But as long as if I get my 2 in the first, that's
there
it.
It is.
Yeah.
So, Dwayne Haskins finished. He, like I said, played seven games. He had 1,365 yards with a passer rating of 76.1, which isn't great. But I think you get him some weapons. I think young guys is the way to go. I do think that getting him veterans isn't, I don't think necessarily is the way. I think you get a nice young team that'll be hungry and like playing for fun.
Yep. You got to build around the young talent. So he's young, and you're going to have him there for a few more years. So you might as well just build around him.
Yep. Next guy I want to talk about is my boy Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater steps in off for an injured Drew Brees, plays 5 games, wins 5 games with a 99.1 passer rating, throws 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions for 1,384 yards. I mean, I'm impressed.
I was impressed with I could say I was impressed, but I could say that I knew what he was capable of doing in that offense. But the thing about it is taking him away from that offense is what scares me. You know, I am a big-time fan of his, but just what scares me is, like you said, he's definitely out of there. So he has to go to a team that is similar to the team that he's leaving.
Yep.
He can't go to like a subpar team.
He can't go to Miami.
No.
Can't go to Indy. Well, I did say he could go to Indy, but I don't think Indy. Like I said, the only move that makes sense, the only team that makes sense for Teddy Bridgewater is the Chargers.
Indy don't have enough over there for him.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, the Chargers have enough offensively for him to perform.
And defensively. So, like, his defense can keep up. If he's on the Chargers, he'll have a defense that can keep up and an offense that can make magic happen.
Yep.
But you send him to a team like Miami that's trying to rebuild. We don't know if they're gonna have a run game. You know, their pass game is suspect. You know, they have an emerging wide receiver in Devontae Parker and an excellent tight end in Mike Gesicki. But is that enough? I don't believe so. I think he needs to be on a team that's already established, a team that he can come in and make moves. You know, another team I would actually be excited to see him go to is the Steelers. I think that's a system that he could work around. Yeah. You know, they definitely need at least one more offensive weapon in the wide receiver department, but I think that's another team he could go to and hit the ground running. Next is your boy, the boy Kyler Murray. 4 years, $35 million, with $23 million guaranteed at the signing. 5-10-1, offensive rookie of the year, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 3,722 yards, and an 87.4 passer rating. Talk about him.
So my guy Kyler, I love him dearly. What he did wasn't surprising to me. I knew he could go out there and sling it and be an effective quarterback in the NFL. His numbers is a little jacked up, beat up, but in those games, like me and Craig used to talk about week to week, is that he wasn't getting blown out by 20-25. Nope. He wasn't that old Arizona team that you automatically got to put a check on because you won. He was that team where it was like, I got to come to perform week in and week out.
The 49ers.
Yeah, when the 49ers was on top.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think, and Craig will agree with me on this, I think in certain games, I could say Kyler Murray did what he had to do, but in certain games you can see that it was more so the coach's errors.
Yeah.
More so it was the players' errors.
Yeah.
So when you actually know football and you're watching football and you're looking for the mistakes by the players, there was way more mistakes made by the coaches on that organization than the players. So, therefore, they just got to get on the same page, and the coaches got to get right because that was a first-year coach also.
Yeah.
So, not giving no excuse or anything for him, but he needed to know NFL in-game situations, how to milk the clock, how to milk the ball. Like when you're up on an undefeated team or a team that has one loss, how to just milk it out and grind it out and try to get that win. But I was excited to see what he actually did with Kyler Murray because all odds were stacked against him.
Yep.
And all odds were stacked against both of them. Kyler's too small. He's not worth the money. But they proved the doubters wrong in that aspect of things.
Yep.
But I just feel as though like coach got to get it together. You know?
Absolutely. And I think you said it, and I agree. I think I might have said it a little bit. I think I might have picked something a little bit different. But if their number one priority this season in the draft and in off-season acquisitions is not to make this offensive line into a brick wall,
exactly,
then they're making a huge mistake.
Because even with those stats, right, he was sacked 50 times.
Oh my God!
So all those
players.
So think about it like this: he threw for what, almost 3,500.
Yep. He threw for 3,700.
3,700. Now just think, you don't give him an extra 1,000 or 1,300 yards to make it 5,000 as a rookie if he had an O-line. Just imagine him in like the Giants' offensive line. He's throwing for 5,000 this year.
Yeah.
But with that offensive line getting sacked 50 times, that's when you get those type of numbers because he's not getting that help. So at the end of the day, he's about the 50 sacks for the whole season is about what we did the math, like a sack and a half a game almost.
Oh no,
almost like 2 sacks a game. It was like 2 to 3 sacks.
It's just about 2 sacks a game.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
That is crazy. And what I'm thinking is like even if you can get like a Steelers quality offensive line, and that's a top 10 offensive line, maybe even top 5. If you can get your offensive line to that position, you're gonna sign Kenyon Drake. You got all these young receivers.
And then you got OG Larry Fitz who's gonna come back because he's still he made Larry Fitz back to his prime.
Yeah. Larry Fitz was amazing because of Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
right back to.
But you always knew. But the thing
form.
about Larry Fitz is he's consistent. He brings you consistency year in and year out. You always know that Larry Fitz got it, but you also know that he don't have a quarterback to get him the rock.
Yeah.
This year he actually had a quarterback to get him the ball the first time probably in his career.
Excited about playing football again.
And you could see it in him that he was excited to play football again. You could see. So I'm just interested to see what this team is going to become next year because I think they can be a playoff team next year.
Oh, if they address this offensive line, there is no doubt in my mind that they make the playoffs. Whether, most likely a wild card.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about seeding in the playoffs. It's playoffs. As long as you made the playoffs in your second year, cool.
And they're in
a tough division.
Once their offensive line is put together, they might be in the toughest division because the Rams are looking to come back. Yep. Seattle got Russell Wilson. Yep. 49ers are the 49ers, one of the most well-rounded teams.
Right now.
And now you bring up the Arizona Cardinals, who are just going to get strong. If they build up the offensive line, Kyler Murray becomes exceptionally dangerous. I mean, he threw 12 interceptions, but how many of those interceptions was because he was being rushed,
down, rushed,
pressured, all that. So
he got 50. Think about it. He got 50 sacks. So I wonder what his QB pressure rating is. Oh, it has to be crazy. It's got to be disgusting. Like a crazy number.
It's got to be disgusting. I mean, because the boy was using his wheels to get out of the way all the time.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the list, I put him up high just because of what he did, is Jameis Winston.
Okay.
Jameis Winston had 33 touchdowns with 30 interceptions, 30 for 30. But he also threw for 5,100 yards. I mean, You take away like half those interceptions, and he went 7-9. You're looking at like a 12-4 season. Yeah. If you take away half those interceptions, he just needs a coach to come in there, quarterback coach, and just be that whisper in his ear.
I think it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
I think because we're on the black quarterback segment, so I'm kind of he's one of the players that I can kind of dig into is like it's tough to be a black quarterback in the NFL because there's not too many as we're naming. The next thing is like you don't know, you could be starting today and gone tomorrow, and playing under that pressure on top of playing under the pressure that you're already under, whether it's your home, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, and then stepping into that stadium and playing under that pressure, it's like they apply so much pressure to him because it's like they're quick to pull him.
Yeah.
Now, if this was any other quarterback that had these same numbers, you're rocking it out, or he's going to be the best quarterback to be. His numbers is great. It's just his interception ratio. He can get it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that they will talk about other quarterbacks.
Yep.
But since this is a young black quarterback, they don't even want to give him the opportunity. Well, I can't say they don't want to give him the opportunity because they have gave him the opportunity, but it's an opportunity with a short leash.
Oh, exceptionally short leash.
How about the year where – not this season, but the season before that,
where they were just swapping them
out. Like, how could you get into a rhythm? How could you get into a flow when they're swapping you out every series, or they're swapping you out if you do something wrong? Like, the thing about quarterback, you are the coach out there. Sometimes you're gonna do wrong. It's all about the next play.
Yeah,
and that's what we emphasize all the time on the field. Is the next play.
Quarterbacks doing worse than Winston. I mean,
a lot worse.
Yeah.
And
if he could drop, now it's a big drop I'm gonna ask for, but if he can cut that down to a third, 10 interceptions a season, you might be talking about Jameis Winston as a top 5 QB.
Yeah, but here's my thing too: is if you're a GM, you should be looking to build that defense in order to be like, okay, help the turnover ratio. So just to know if he does have turnovers, you got a defense that can go out there and stop someone and get the ball back.
Yeah.
Their defense wasn't that sharp. There was games where it was 50-50, like 60-60. Like.
And then there was games where they was just the defense that defense has the potential to be like
good,
tough.
Real good, yeah.
Yeah. And they got a good defensive coordinator in Todd Bowles. So I think that you're right. They're just missing a few pieces. Mm-hmm. You know who I would like to see them go after is Darius Slay.
Okay.
Get that veteran cornerback, that shutdown corner. I think that would help out a lot. But Jameis Winston, is he going to be in Tampa Bay next year? Is he going to get traded to another team? Is he going to be a starter next year?
Who knows?
A lot of questions in the air for Jameis Winston. But I think Tampa Bay need to roll the dice and sign him to a 1-year franchise tag him. Something, because I think he needs one more year in Tampa, and he can get it done. All right, let's talk about the boy Dak Prescott. This year he went 8-8. It was a sad season for the Cowboys. I had him going to the bowl game before the season started, but they dropped way off, 8-8. But he threw 30 touchdowns with only 11 interceptions. He threw for 4,900 yards. Only 200 yards less than Jameis Winston, who threw the most of the season. So Dak Prescott throws for the second most yards, but loses 8 games. That, to me, sounds like a defensive problem.
It's more than a defensive problem. I think it's going back to the week 1.
Yeah.
It's a owner's problem. And the reason why I say it's an owner's problem is due to the simple fact is the owner was stirring a lot of controversy amongst the team, amongst on how he's going to pay guys, the way he's going to pay guys, And honestly, it's going to suck because someone like Dak may get franchise tagged. You get what I'm saying? And that's going to be the suckiest feeling in the world because what his men lie, women lie numbers don't, and his numbers don't lie. Dak is always arguably top 5 in numbers every year.
And you know what's crazy?
I'm not saying he's a top 5 quarterback, but his numbers, he's top 5 every year.
And he's the lowest paid quarterback on this list.
And he's the lowest paid.
Lowest paid quarterback on the list. Second highest passing yards. And this dude got a 4-year, $2.7 million contract with $383,000 guaranteed at the signing.
And then he's making $680 a year off that contract.
Like, that is borderline disgusting. Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins are making more money than Dak Prescott.
But you got to understand, Kyler Murray was a number 1 pick. So
I feel you. I know Dak Prescott was like a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yeah, so that's a little bit different. And then, like you're saying, he was a 3rd-round draft pick. But still, I feel like once you go out there and ball up, you can get that extension.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That extension can come in a year. It can go in 2 years. It can go in 3. But if you see potential and you know this is your guy, especially being a 3rd-round pick, you give him an extension.
See, that's the thing.
And that's the disrespect that these black quarterbacks have in the NFL.
And I feel like something's telling me that Jerry Jones doesn't think Dak's the guy.
Yeah.
I think he's saying it.
But I'm telling you this: you send Dak somewhere else and see what happens. He's gonna be that guy.
You know, I still like the idea of the Dallas-Miami trade.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Next on the list, Deshaun Watson. He went 10-6 this past year, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He threw for 3,852 yards with a 98 passer rating. Deshaun Watson was good this year, man.
He was good, man. It's just like, you know, that's another team. They was battling injuries. They had the injury bug. Mm-hmm. That receiver core couldn't stay healthy. I gotta give it to you. You called it. The guy Will Fuller couldn't stay healthy, and it's tough. Healthy. Yeah, and it's tough. It's like, I think,
and he went down at the worst possible
times. I always like that with him. So I think if you bring in another receiver or two, just to make that receiver core that much more deeper, that much more stronger, because you already know Hop is his man.
Yeah.
He's not going to not get away from throwing it to Hop.
Yep.
So if you bring in two young guys, I think they could really do well. Beef up on that defense, because the defense, Watt and stuff like that, he wasn't healthy at points too.
Yep.
So I think if they bring in a couple guys on offense, receivers, a couple guys on defense, I think they can do well. And I think he's a guy who's going to get a big payday when it's time to get paid, because he's proven that he can go out there and do it.
Exactly. And, he got a big payday coming up for him. The one thing I will say that I'm proud about this list is that the top 6 got some paydays coming for them.
But just think about the top 6. We're saying their salaries. Just think about the top 6 salaries now.
Yeah.
Before this payday.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It is super
compared
embarrassing.
To when we give you the other list.
Yeah.
It will make you throw up.
Exactly. So, next on the list is Russell Wilson, a man who needs no introduction. 11-5, 31 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Threw for 4,110 yards with a 106.3 passer rating. Might have had the highest passer rating of the season. I believe he did. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I love every bit of it.
I love Russell Wilson, man.
Yep.
I will, and the thing I love about this list is Russell Wilson right now, currently, until the new season begins, highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
And Patty boy.
And you know what? We talked about this when it went last year when he got the contract, and I was saying that I don't know. I don't think that he's worth highest paid quarterback. And this year he proved to me that he is worth it, because he had some sneakily good weapons, but they weren't. He made those weapons good. He had a suspect run game that turned out to work out really well, but he got the job done.
Yep.
Like, what more can you say about Russell Wilson?
And then I'm gonna just give you.
Go ahead.
We're just gonna go down the list of some. So we named the top 10 quarterbacks that's out
8.
there. Well, the top 8 out there. That's
you got Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, them two, but they don't need no introduction. Them guys,
you got to say this though. Let me just say this about Lamar Jackson real quick. Lamar Jackson had a record-setting season, franchise record for touchdowns for the Ravens. He threw 1 touchdown to every 87.5 yards. That's the most since 1963, where Y.A. Tittle did it. He had 30 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. He was the only quarterback in 100 years of the NFL to throw 5 touchdowns and 80-plus rushing yards in 2 games. Cam Newton only did it once. He had 5 touchdown passing games with 50-plus rushing yards, which is more than anybody's ever done. He had more touchdowns than the punter had punts. More touchdowns than the punter had punts. That's ridiculous.
That's dope.
33 punts to 37 touchdowns, I think it was. Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady are the only 2 quarterbacks with 3 games with 5 touchdowns per games with 0 interceptions. Perfect passer rating.
Perfect.
And then 7 games with 50-plus rushing yards and multiple touchdowns. Only quarterback. So I had to say that. And we all know Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP. And he's getting the bag this year. $40 million a year.
So I'm gonna just give you a list of the backups and their salary right now. So we got Joe Webb, Houston Texans, a backup quarterback. He's making $11 million a year. $11 million salary. We got Jordan Tamayu, Houston. He was waived. We got Tyron Taylor, Chargers. He's making $11 million, $5 million a year. We got Candace Jones. He was on the Chargers, waived. We got Brett Hadley from the Cardinals, the backup. He's making 1.8 a year. We got RG3 Ravens. He's making $4 million a year.
Oh wait, that Candace Jones? You said Candace Jones?
Yeah.
That might be the dude I was talking about. That plays for the XFL. That might be him. Yeah. That got waived. I think that might be the dude who plays for the in the XFL, who's undefeated in his professional record.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Then we got Geno Smith. He got waived in Seattle. We got JT Barrett. He got waived in Seattle. He was the worst paid with $136,000 a year. We got Josh Dobbs from Pittsburgh. We got Philip Walker from Indy. He was waived. We got Josh Johnson from Detroit. We got Teddy Bridgewater. And we got Tyler Jackson from Buffalo. So, like, my thing is, like, all these, like, backup guys, like, notably, like, a lot of them are all on the same organization or all from the same organization, most of these guys. Like, from the Houston to the Chargers to the Seattle to the Cardinals, like, it's almost like the same organizations believe in the black quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that all organizations should believe in the black quarterback, and not necessarily saying that they should just go out there and start. Like, no, it should be equal opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, look at one of the biggest names on your list is Tyrod Taylor, and I was telling you this before the show started, is that one of the accolades that nobody seems to really be focusing on about Tyrod Taylor is he has the second highest passer rating. He protects the ball better than everybody but Aaron Rodgers, who's given the nod as the best quarterback in the league. And even though that we all know that's Patrick Mahomes, but the dude protects the ball better than all the quarterbacks in the NFL but one.
But my thing is, it's so easy to tell a black quarterback, hey, you're not good at quarterback, go play receiver.
Yeah.
But you can't tell a white quarterback, hey, you're not good at quarterback, go play receiver.
Yeah. No. Don't like it happens so often. I think Julian Edelman's one of the few quarterbacks.
There's a couple. There's maybe like a few, very few.
You know, whatchamacallit had to do it. What's his name?
But they switched coming in knowing that they was too small or whatever like that. They didn't switch
because it
was like almost like forced. Like, you have no chance unless you play this position.
Exactly, and some of them turn out to do pretty well. Breaking news: Greg Olsen signs with the Seattle Seahawks.
I knew that was gonna happen.
1-year deal, $7 million.
I like it.
Yeah, to go if Will Dissly comes back 100%, and you got Dissly and Greg Olsen, that's gonna be an awesome little situation to have over there. Kind of like giving them a new Jimmy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. I like that. Now let's talk about.
What about? I got another little tad bit for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we got there's only three black quarterbacks ever to win a Super Bowl. You got Doug Williams. He played for the Washington Redskins. He was the first black QB to win it. He won over the Denver Broncos in 1988, Super Bowl 42-10. And then you had Russell Wilson, 2014. He beat the Denver Broncos 43-8. And then you got Patty Mahomes, 2020.
Beating San Francisco 49ers. Damn.
Yeah.
So, wow, only three quarterbacks.
Yep.
And, Cam Newton almost had it, but I feel like he gave up.
There was a lot of quarterbacks that almost got there and almost had it, but then they ended up falling off that bridge.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb lost to the Patriots.
Yep.
So we have a list of some of the higher paid, Caucasian quarterbacks.
Yep.
Top of my list is probably one of the I think maybe 4 out of this list that I think deserve the pay that they're getting, and that's Aaron Rodgers. 4 years, $134 million. He got 57.5 as a signing bonus. And this past season, he threw for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, and a 95.4 passer rating. Second highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
He definitely deserves his money.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got to give it to him.
Got to give it to him. He got a Super Bowl under his belt. Can't knock him after.
And proved that he can make it through a whole season this year. So that's good. Number 2 on this list, and Aaron Rodgers also has Super Bowl ring.
Yes.
Another player on this list that have a Super Bowl ring is the guy we love, Drew Brees.
Without a question.
Signed a 2-year, $50 million deal with 13.5 signing bonus. He threw for what I thought, you know what, I now that I'm thinking about it, I was thinking it was low, but I forgot he was out 5 games. 2,979 yards, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a 116.3 passer rating. So I want to just put that into perspective for a second. 5 games. Missing 5 games, and he probably would have led the league in interceptions, might have hit that 5,000 mark. And his passer rating actually is the number 1. So Russell Wilson is number 2. He's got the highest passer rating in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, the dude is killing it.
That's Uncle Drew.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And we get one more season of that. Jimmy Garoppolo, 5-year, $137 million with $27.5 million a year.
Not worth it.
No, he made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did, but that defense made them go to the Super Bowl. There was times
that's
where
part of it.
He didn't have to be a quarterback half the time. Like
in the playoffs, he definitely didn't.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's almost like free money. Me and you could have took that money and went out there and handed the ball off. That's all you had to do. That's free money. It's not like he had to put the team on his back and let's go. Yeah, let's go get this win.
He did have to. He did have to make some drives to win some games. But
and what happened when you put the ball in his hand to win the game? At the biggest stage.
Yeah, he did overthrow Emmanuel Sanders. So that money would have won.
So that money's not worth it.
Okay, I feel you. I slightly disagree because he did throw for 3,978 yards. He had 27 touchdowns, and he had 13 interceptions, but his passer rating was 102. So I think that
out of what you're saying on the other list that you got over there, who was he better than?
He was better than Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
He was
and getting quadruple of Deshaun Watson money.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, right now because Deshaun Watson's still under rookie contract. He was close to Russell Wilson. He's only about 200 yards shy of the passing mark, but he did throw exceptionally he threw a lot more interceptions, but he also did make it to the bowl game, so I think that gives him the slight edge. Okay. He also did slightly better than Patrick Mahomes. He was pretty close to equal to Patrick Mahomes. He got 1 more touchdown, but obviously he got a lot more interceptions. But next on the list is my guy, the guy we always got to put on the list, 6-time Super Bowl champ, Tom Brady. 1 year, $23 million with $20 million guaranteed. And these numbers actually surprised me because they were a lot higher than I thought. He threw for 4,057 yards. He had 24 touchdowns. He only had 8 interceptions. He had an 88 passer rating due to the lack of quality at the wide receiver position. But 4,000 yards, man, I thought it would have been like 3,500. Probably one of the 3 of the quarterbacks worth their money. Okay. I had to put Josh Allen on this list because he made it to the bowl game. He threw for 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and an 85 passer rating. He got a 4-year deal, $20 million, $5 million guaranteed, and $13 million guaranteed, $5 million a year.
He's worth that money.
I think so.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Yeah. I think that's a fair trade.
Treat him like a brother.
Now, let's talk about these last 6 who do not deserve the money that they got. Top of the list is Matt Ryan. 5-year, $150 million, 94.5 guaranteed, $30 million a year, no playoffs. No playoffs. Yeah, he threw for 4,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, but he had 14 interceptions.
Same thing those guys is doing.
See what I'm saying? He's not making it to the game. He's not making it to the show. He's getting all this money. Another high-paid quarterback, Matthew Stafford. 5-year, $135 million, $60 guaranteed, $27 a year. You know how many yards he threw for? Didn't even hit 2,500.
Wow.
What's going on here? Derek Carr, 5 years, $125 million, $40 guaranteed, $25 million a year. The only thing I could say for him is he threw for 4,000 yards. What's going on? Kirk Cousins, probably the best on the lowest part of this list. 3 years, $84 million guaranteed. First quarterback to get a 100% guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
He threw for 3,600 yards, but he did make it to the playoffs. Fought for an opportunity to make it to the ship. Failed.
I don't think he's worth that money because I think if you put another quarterback over there, they make it further than what he just did.
Yeah, you bring back Teddy Bridgewater, it's going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last on this list, and some people might disagree with me, I don't know if you will, but Carson Wentz, 4 years, $228 million, 66.5 guaranteed, $32 million a year. Yeah, he threw for 4,000 yards. He had 27 touchdowns. He only had 7 interceptions, and he had a 93.1 passer rating. But he was out. First game of the playoffs.
He hasn't been healthy. The year that they won the Super Bowl, that was Nick Foles. That was his Super Bowl.
And then the next year they went to the playoffs. Nick Foles.
Yeah, Nick Foles, yeah.
So, and he got the contract after. He got the contract after.
Yeah, because they chose him over Nick Foles. Yeah.
So it's crazy. And then, there's that one quarterback, that we haven't really spoke on, that black quarterback who's not in the NFL right now, and that's Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
Colin Kaepernick made it to a Super Bowl with the 49ers with, I think, less of a team than they have right now.
Way less.
And, yeah, he had a little dip off. Little bit of a dip off, maybe because of the change of coaching staff. Who knows? Stands up for what he believes in. Now he doesn't play in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
Lots of players who not doing too well. You got a guy who got convicted of some heinous crimes playing in the NFL right now, getting $30 million a year. What's that number? We talking about Big Ben. What's his number?
Big Ben, his is crazy. Big Ben makes about what, $34 million a year.
Crazy.
But he also, you also got to give it to him because he do got some Super Bowls under his belt.
How many he got? 1, 2?
2.
2 Super Bowls?
So that's different. And I just want to, before we go, I just name, my all-time best or the all-time best black quarterbacks of all time. You got Doug Williams. He's a Super Bowl champ, first black quarterback to ever win it. You got Marlon Briscoe. He was a member of the 1972 Dolphins team. He was the first black quarterback in 1968, but they made him go to receiver like a couple years into his career.
Wow.
He's number 6 was Doug Martin. Number 5, Marlon Briscoe. Number 4, Michael Vick. Michael Vick, name speaks for himself. He changed the game. He made a lot of these young quarterbacks who they are today, but the difference is these young quarterbacks is in a different style of offense and letting the thing go. Number 3 is Steve A. McNair. He threw for 30,000 yards, 174 touchdowns. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, and he was the NFL MVP in 2003. Number 2, Randall Cunningham. He had 5 seasons straight of 3,000-plus yards. He went to 4 Pro Bowls, and then in 1998, he led the Minnesota Vikings to a 15-1 record, and in that season, he threw for 34 TDs and 10 interceptions. And number 1 on the list for the black quarterback is Warren Moon. Warren Moon, over 50,000 yards, 9 Pro Bowls. He led Houston to the playoffs consistently, but only thing about Warren Moon that kills his career is he never been to a Super Bowl.
Damn.
Yeah.
Some honorable mentions, Donovan McNabb, he been to a Super Bowl, lost to the New England Patriots. And I almost want to say he also lost to the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I thought he went twice. Remember Cordell Stewart?
Cordell Stewart.
Threw the ball return punts and kicks. I mean, I want to even say he might even played some defensive plays. There's been a lot of great ones in our past. Who did I say? Dante Culpepper. You know, that was a great quarterback. But that's our time for today. Don't forget, Greg Olsen, now a Seattle Seahawk. And until next week, we'll see us in the end zone. Have a good night.